What's up, everybody? Baron Von Stroud coming at you with another action figure review. Today, a new line from Hasbro, the Indiana Jones Adventure Series, looking at the man himself, Indiana Jones. This is based on his appearance in Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's a big franchise from my childhood, so let's take a look and see if Hasbro did this figure justice. So this is the packaging for the Adventure Series figures. They're all pretty much the same, just varying depending on what character you're looking at. As far as Hasbro's windowless plastic-free packaging, this honestly is probably my favorite. I do really like how it's got, the title nice and bold, the color, like contrasting colors on here. You got a picture of him from the movie in the background there. All in all, I like the packaging. Looking at it from the other views here. So from the side, you just have, of course, the look of Harrison Ford from the movie. It's not quite like a still from the movie or a photo, but more like a painting version of that, if that makes sense. And, of course, the famous scene pictured there where he takes the idol off of the pressure plate in the temple. And if you do happen to keep figures in box, which is crazy, and I don't know why anyone would, but anyway, they do look really good next to each other. It kind of all fits together to make one kind of like Indiana Jones themed painting, which I like. So packaging on this one is pretty solid. And looking at the back here, it does show the build and artifact, the completed Ark. The Ark of the Covenant is the featured thing on that. We'll cover that here in a little bit. Then it just shows you a picture of the figure with some dynamic posing, as well as everything that is included in the package. So that's one cool thing is that they had, on older ones, I don't recall them, older Hasbro figures that is, them really showing you a picture of everything that's included because you could see inside and see what it is. But I do like how on this it does give you a picture of what exactly is included, all the accessories, the hands, all that stuff. So that's pretty cool that they've done it on that. And then, of course, all the legal stuff that they have to put on here, to make the figures legally sellable here in the U.S. So this is the sleeve that you pull out of the box, kind of has everything contained. You have the figure right behind that build and artifact image. You have the figure itself, and then on the left is a smaller bag that contains all the accessories, the extra hands, and stuff like that. So this is the first one that I've noticed where they really included like this kind of print inside the thing. I know the Marvel has just like plain cardboard inside, and G.I. Joe has started doing it now as well. So I don't know if, I guess G.I. Joe technically they started that first since that's been in production longer. But I think it's pretty cool that they have this stuff listed on the inside as well. It's not just plain cardboard. And as far as the little, I guess, wax paper that goes on there, as you can see, there's little designs on there. It's kind of hard to get a picture and focus in on it. This is actually a map done in like a golden print. So if you've watched the Indiana Jones movies, of course, he flies over there's a map every time they travel from different locations. So that's kind of to me, a cool nod to that. And I like how it's got that design on this wax paper. Now that we've done all that talking about the packaging, let's look at the meat and potatoes of it, what actually is included inside the box. So these are all the accessories and extras you get. You, of course, get Indy's revolver, 2 forms of the whip, the rolled up, and then like the extended one. The Build-A-Figure pieces that are included with Indy, so the top part of the grail. Got two extra sets of hands, and then, of course, the idol from the temple. So pretty cool amount of stuff here. This is actually fairly bit more accessories than I was expecting. So all in all, pleasantly surprised with what was extras were included. So this figure did come loaded with multiple sets of hands. First one we're going to look at up close is the closed fist. Pretty standard for this type of figure, so glad that those are included. He definitely knocks people out on plenty of occasions throughout the movie. So looking at the articulation of the figure, now from my understanding this is done by the designers of the Star Wars Black Series, so it's all very similar. So it's got single jointed elbows and knees, but the way that they're cut, you get a pretty good range of motion. You also have a thigh swivel, and then everything's connected through mostly on ball joints. That includes the waist, the hips, multiple ball joints and stuff connected. Now, it could have been, the articulation could have been better. The head is, of course, on a ball joint as well. But the hat is not detachable, which was a big gripe for me. Like, it just doesn't make sense. There are plenty of scenes in the movie where he didn't have his hat on. Not sure why it wasn't included. Like I said, single-jointed knees and elbows, but I think they work well. If they do make vehicles, I could see it easily fitting on, like, a motorcycle or something like that. So I don't think there's much they have to change as far as the articulation, or that could have been better. The jacket's not too... It's fairly soft, so it's easy to move and stuff like that. Not bad. There's some things I would have tweaked a little bit, but all in all, I think it was a pretty good articulation layout for the figure. Now, something different with these figures is that these are the pins for the hands and stuff are actually built into the arm of the figure. It's usually the other way around. Usually the peg comes out of the hand and goes into a hole in the arm. This is a little bit different. This is a little bit more similar to like how import figures have hands set up. So stuff like Figuarts, Figma, stuff like that. Cool. It's cool. Hasbro's switching to something different. I don't know. Maybe this is more cost effective. I'm not sure. But looking at the other hands that are included here, and just a quick look from the Han Solo with the Black Series so you can get an idea of what I was talking about as far as how that connects. So we do have a right-handed like gripping hand. This can be used for gripping any of the items like the whip or anything like that, whatever kind of accessory you want to put in his hand. We do also have a right-handed gun holster or trigger finger hand. Moving to the left, we have the left gripping hand, which can also be used for like the whip or any other kind of accessory you want to put in it. And then we have a wide open holding hand. This one in particular can fit in any kind of accessory you can fit in there, specifically that it comes with the idol. So that's what the hands are included. One of the other big issues I have with this is where the whip connects to the belt. That's a very soft rubber. If it had been a little stiffer, it would have been easier to get the peg inside the hole to hold the whip there. But it's the same soft material as like that holster, so it's really just kind of hard to get that in there. That's kind of the only real gripe I have with the figure, aside from the hat not detaching. So hopefully in the upcoming other releases that'll use this mold, hopefully they can make that a little stiffer so it works a little bit better and doesn't feel like it's going to break. So looking at the head sculpt, it's kind of a weird thing. I look at it and I see Indiana Jones. I know it's Harrison Ford, but like when compared to him, it doesn't really look like him. It's weird. It's odd. I don't know how to explain it. And of course you can tell the colors here are a bit off. He has like a little bit darker leather and stuff in the older movie, in Raiders. I don't know. It's something odd about the head sculpt. Like it's Harrison Ford and it's Indiana Jones, but at the same time, it's also not. If that makes sense. Like just looking at to me, these two faces should be pretty much identical, but they seem very different. I know the one on the left's a little bit older, but I don't know what it is. Just something about the head sculpt. It's good, but it's definitely not perfect. So looking at the heights compared to other popular lines out there right now, I think you can tell the Lightning Collection and the Black Series and Figuarts are definitely the closest in terms of scale to this. Everything else will be a little bit big. Now, if you're doing like toy photography and want to do some mashups, of course, those will work out great for you. But if you mess with perspective, you can make really any of these other lines work as well. So all in all, not too bad. It's not too short. It's definitely not bigger, so that's good. But this is just an idea of how they scale based on other brands. So you should be able to find the new Indiana Jones stuff out at most major retailers starting now, and over the next few weeks should start popping up at more places. And I've seen them at like Target and some like local shops. You're looking at a retail price most places around $24.99. That's going to be the average. I think that's exactly what they are on HasbroPulse.com. So if that's what they're expecting to charge. Now, some smaller shops, you may see that'll fluctuate a little bit, but that should be what you're expecting to pay for a figure from this line. As far as the figure itself, I wanted it to be a 10. Like, I was so pumped when it was announced, but there's just so many ways they cut corners on this. I have to give the figure an 8.5 out of 10. Could have been better if the hat was detachable, or you had an alternate head sculpt for Indy without the hat. Either one of those. Some of the softer rubber and plastic on there just kind of took away from it, and I just feel like eventually like that piece will probably break off rather than stay on there as far as holding the whip. But that's my review for the figure. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll definitely see you all in the next review. Have a good one.